Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Kimberly Guilfoyle Show, live on Rumble, where facts come first and where news is done right. Just hours ago, President Trump was in the Situation Room with his National Security Council, receiving briefings on Iran. Several options are reportedly on the table, including dropping a bunker buster on Iran's largest enrichment facility. And the president says a decision will come in the next 2 weeks. And when the president was asked about Iran on the White House lawn, here is what he had to say. Watch.
Answer questions about whether you are moving closer or you believe the U.S. is moving closer to striking Iranian nuclear facilities. Where's your mindset on that?
I can't say that, right? You don't seriously think I'm going to answer that question? Will you strike the Iranian nuclear component? And what time exactly, sir? Sir, would you strike it? Would you please inform us so we can be there and watch? I mean, you don't know that I'm going to even do it. You don't know. I may do it. I may not do it. I mean, nobody knows what I'm going to do. I can tell you this, that Iran's got a lot of trouble, and they want to negotiate. And I said, why didn't you negotiate with me before? All this death and destruction. Why didn't you negotiate? I said to the people, why didn't you negotiate with me 2 weeks ago? You could have done fine. You would have had a country.
And meanwhile, Democrats and the media are having one meltdown after another, a little pity party over pretty much anything and everything. Yeah. For example, The View's Whoopi Goldberg was asked about oppression in the Middle East, and let's just say she missed the mark.
Slow.
But let's just remember, too, the Iranians literally throw gay people off of buildings. They don't adhere to basic human rights.
Listen, here's the thing. Let's not do that, because if we start with that, we have been known in this country to tie gay folks to the car.
But where the Iranian regime is today in 2025 is nothing compared to the United States.
Keep hanging black people. So
it is not even the same. I couldn't step foot during this.
Wait. That's not what you mean to say. It is the same.
No, it's not. The year 2025 in the United States is nothing like if I step foot wearing this outfit into
Listen, I'm sorry.
I can't have my hair showing. I can't wear a skirt. I can't have my arms out.
I'm telling you,
I literally said it was up to the Iranian people.
Yes,
it is up to them.
And that's why I am saying that it is the same. Murdering someone for their difference is not good. Whoever does it, it's not good. So that's why I said. You weren't saying what I heard was not what you meant.
I think it's very different to live in the United States in 2025 than it is to live in Iran.
Not if you're black.
Not for everybody.
Not if you're black.
Guys.
Just think about that for a minute. But the lunacy doesn't stop there, because House Democrats are now claiming that taking illegal immigrants off of Medicaid and deporting violent criminals is, quote, folks, wait for it, un-American. Take a look.
To Medicaid, the largest cuts being proposed to Medicaid in American history are unacceptable, unconscionable, and un-American, and together we're going to do everything we can to stop them.
And joining me now, the one, the only, the author of The Butcher of Pakistan, backed by popular demand, repeated request, the one and only host of The Eric Dieter Show. Eric, thank you so much for being on the program.
Thanks for having me on, Kimberly.
So let's just take a moment, okay? You and I talk on the phone. We're 24/7 together. We're going to talk after this show, but let's give the good folks what they came for today. Lot to discuss. Whoopi Goldberg comparing oppression in the Middle East to her own life in America. That's quite a hot take.
It sure is. And what Whoopi Goldberg just doesn't grasp, she speaks only to that echo chamber of that group of people. Everyone else, you, me, and everyone else in this country, listen to her remarks and we're like, don't think so. I mean, when you look at what happens to a woman, what happens to young girls, what happens to somebody gay in Iran, you cannot compare that to the United States in 2025, like she was trying to explain. You want to go back to slavery. Let's face it. We all acknowledge it. Slavery was the greatest sin in this country's history, but we resolved it. A lot of white people died resolving it. But what Whoopi Goldberg does is all she does is speaks to these group of people that are already crazy. No one else in America. We now live in an America in 2025 that's not slavery times. I mean, we have black coaches, black mayors, black representatives, black congressmen, black U.S. senators. We've had a black president, on and on and on. So, you know, she's living in the dark ages. She's living in a different time and space because she's trying to fit it in. It's like that square peg round hole that won't go because she wants the outcome to be. But it doesn't work. It doesn't work. I mean, she sounds so silly.
Yeah, and it's not just the media. Democrat leadership wants to keep illegal aliens on Medicaid. Let's talk about that level of insanity. Why?
I mean, the idea that they let all of these people in this country illegally, they protest that Trump's throwing them out, especially the bad guys, and then the idea that they come into this country and we have to give them Medicare, Medicaid, it's insane, and we can't afford it. But they defend that. Now, one of the things that really bothers me about this Medicaid with illegal aliens is where it really happens is these blue states like Illinois, New York, California. And everybody forgets about this, Kimberly, what happened under like COVID and their policies, these states bankrupted themselves. But what they did in that big infrastructure bill that Mitch McConnell worked out with Joe Biden and company for $3 trillion, part of that package was bailing out those cities, those states that had these terrible policies. And the same thing happens to Medicaid. I saw where Massachusetts has spent $1 billion on illegals last year alone. And you watch, they're going to come to the trough for middle America and all of us taxpayers to bail them out. And with this Congress and with this president, it's not going to happen. I think they're going to have a real problem. I mean, look, he's already asking for $20 million, you know, for the riot damage, but it's not going to work with this Congress and this president. They do a terrible job of governing their states and their cities, and then they want to bail out. And Medicaid is a big number, big number.
Well, in Kentucky, which we both know and love, but here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go. Here we
Well,
go.
in Kentucky,
I don't even have to
just
say
got
anything. He just going.
this president and his Justice Department, Pam Bondi, has now filed a lawsuit against Governor Andy Beshear, who wants to be president in 2028. My nickname for him, Kimberly, is Mr. Rogers. I have this same, like the president does. I give everybody a nickname. He's Mr. Rogers. He comes out during COVID and he's preaching to us, you know, Well, he is getting sued now by the Department of Justice because they were giving tuition breaks for illegal aliens. So if you're a Kentuckian or somebody from out of state coming to Kentucky, you're paying X, Y, Z, but illegal aliens are getting a deal.
I know. I can't with it.
Hey, what do you think average Americans think about that? Not good.
And you're absolutely right, by the way. Like you and I always call it and tell it like it is. He's 1,000% running for president. But then there's a little guy, Newsom, that's also going to have like a problem with that. Then we got that freak show in Michigan. She's a nut job. She wants to get in it. We hope that Coconut Tree doesn't try to get back in. One fell off the coconut tree. She gets approximately like 2 votes when she illegally votes for herself twice. This is all very predictable, and it's all very purposeful and contrived.
Yeah, Kimberly, let me tell you about Beshear. I need to tell your audience, because you got a big audience, and they all need to be warned about Andy Beshear. This is a funny thing. I live in Kentucky. I ran for governor. I want everybody to know outside the state about Andy Beshear. Andy Beshear is as liberal as any Democrat in this country. What he wants to project in 2028, when he starts running, he wants to project that, oh, I've been a Democrat in a red state, yada, 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 and I've done a great job. Well, here is the truth. There is a supermajority in the Republican legislature in the state of Kentucky, both the House and the Senate. There's only 6 Democrat senators in the state house now, and they all come from Louisville and Lexington. There's not even a rural Democratic state senator. And what they do is they pass these laws, and he has no choice but to sign them. So they pass income tax cuts. Bashir would never pass income tax cuts. So he signs it and then takes credit for it like his idea, when he was really forced to do it because they can override any veto. So I want to tell the country out there that Andy Bashir, anything good he's done was forced upon him by a supermajority legislature.
No, you're right about that. And let me tell you something, just to like tag on to that. So Bashir was 1,000%, as you know, in the running, right, as a running mate for Kamala Harris. Like he was 100% in the mix. He was probably smart that he didn't do it, because that would have really killed his chances. So understand what a calculated politician he is. You didn't see Newsom getting in on that. You didn't see Bashir getting in on that. Even Mark, the astronaut, whatever, he wasn't going in on this. It's very interesting to me.
You know what? It is always a strategic choice if you want to hitch your wagon to that presidential candidate, and it is not always worked out. Look what a disaster Tim Walz is.
Oh,
And also look at what a wonderful choice made by J.D. Vance.
Yeah.
When this president is really, really successful, that's going to go a long way to where whoever the president endorses. By the way, I think everybody's been reminded this week, including some big MAGA supporters, who's the real leader of MAGA. I mean, it cracks me up that people forget that the president is the leader of MAGA.
Yeah,
it isn't other
kidding.
congressmen. It isn't other media folks. It's the president. So whoever he blesses to succeed him, and it's kind of crazy to think about, it'll start in a year and a half, but whoever he blesses is going to have a great jump on the opposition, and I don't know how anybody runs in a primary against it because he'll be that strong. The last time it worked successfully, with Joe Biden didn't run after Obama, but he ended up making it. But
Yeah.
George Bush pivoted off the great success of Ronald Reagan. But I think that everybody was smart not to hook their wagon to Kamala Harris.
Total dud, man.
What a dingbat she
Failure
is.
to launch. Oh my God.
I mean, come on, Kamala Harris, you're gonna be governor of California. I mean, it's
No
just, it's
way. Honestly, like unless Willie Brown like buys her the votes, and he's not going to.
Really,
He knows
how
that
about
dog don't hunt.
Willie Brown's recent remarks is that that Trump's too smart for the Democrats. That's what Willie Brown told Newsmax. He says
Well,
Trump's too
true.
smart for these Democrats.
He's right. He knows. I know Willie a long time. Slick Willie knows. He calls it like it is. All right, so let's talk about Iran too. I have so much fun with you. Okay, so the president says that he's going to have a decision on the next steps with Iran in 2 weeks, meaning any time within the 2 weeks. He's not saying 2 weeks from now. He's saying any time in the next 2 weeks. What do you think happens over the rest of this month? What does it all look like? What do you think the right path is? What do you think that the president is going to do? And what you think the president is going to do, what are going to be the repercussions or the ramifications of those actions?
I think the president will, if Israel informs him that they can't take it out, it might even be that the president says, I want your commandos to do what they do to see if they can, depending on how risky that is. But I think in the end, if Iran doesn't capitulate, and I don't think they will, because the bombs are coming and they're not willing to give up. I don't think that's going to change. But I think the president will take action if his action of dropping that bunker buster is the only path to make sure Iran doesn't have a nuclear bomb. It's going to happen. I want to say this to the president, and I've been watching this, and you're going to hear it first on your show, because no one, Oh, the wait also helps him diplomatically. It saying I'm going to wait 2 weeks helps him with all the opponents of it who are going to call him a warmonger. So politically, it's brilliant. But here's what I'm going to say about the president that no one's saying. The only reason we are where we are right now, with Iran being obliterated by Israel, and no Arab country saying a thing, China staying out, Russia staying out, is because of President Trump's brilliant diplomacy. He has everyone in the Middle East locked up on business deals. Let's make money. Let's do business. He said recently, Iran, I don't understand them. They have $300 million, 300 years of oil, and they're doing this stupidity. Everybody in the Middle East is against Iran. He's got Iran isolated. They have no friends. And the only reason that happened is President Trump having China tied down with tariff battles, Ukraine and Russia tied down with Ukraine, and him pushing Russia to end that war, and his business deals in the Middle East. Just think about it. We have Israel bombing the hell out of Iran, and no one's doing a damn thing. It would have never happened but for Trump's brilliant global diplomacy.
I agree.
And where we are. So he's got all that political capital. So now he's going to be said. And oh, by the way, they talk about, well, what if there's a regime change? I heard somebody the other day say, oh, so when we knew Hitler was coming, we wouldn't want to remove Hitler because we wouldn't want to know what would happen if Hitler was removed or Stalin was removed. It's not going to get any worse than the Ayatollah. So let a regime change comes. And this is not, the other thing, they say, well, this is war, this is going to explode. No, it's not. Reagan dropped the bomb on Libya, sent a message. Reagan dropped the bomb on Iran, sent a message. Us dropping one bunker to destroy that facility is not World War III. It's not. And it's all because of Trump's diplomatic success in the region. And nobody's talking about that. Nobody's talking about why nobody's doing anything, because he set the stage with all these agreements in the Middle East. Who would have ever thought, Kimberly, that Israel could bomb the hell out of Iran and everybody let it happen?
I mean, it's unbelievable, but you're absolutely right. It's because Trump is in place. If he wasn't, this would not have even been possible. And by the way, kudos to Israel and Netanyahu for taking advantage and seizing the moment to do something. And President Trump will be remembered and go down in history as preventing a nuclear war, stopping Iran in the track. Nobody wants this. Trust me. I don't think Russia, China, no one actually really wants a nuclear capable and a nuclear ready Iran.
Look at the philosophy of how stupid it was. Susan Rice, as the national security advisor under Barack Obama, said, we'll be okay with the nuclear North Korea.
So stupid. These are really bad people. We can never let them in office again.
The national security advisor, okay with the nuclear. Are you kidding me? I mean, it's just...
It's so irresponsible, you know? I mean, this is like, it's crazy town. I mean, what are they doing? Thank God President Trump is in. I mean, just like sit back for a second and think every day about whether or not like things would be really bad if President Trump was not reelected. Wow.
And he's got 80% of the support of the American public opinion right now on Iran not having a nuclear. I mean, when has there ever been an 80% approval recently on anything in politics?
Well, the 20% is the view. Dear God. What are they feeding them in the green room? Some crazy, crazy snacks.
They're just so stupid. I mean, they're just so silly. I mean, they're just, the things that come out of their mouths are just like, wow.
Well, Alyssa was trying to make some sense, but she was getting tag teamed over there. Like, you just can't go against Whoopi. That's just the bottom line, or she'll just like murder you and throw you out in the green room. You know, it's like, I'm not even joking you. You've got to just like go along with the flow. That's it. It's like you're on the school bus every day and you're going to get your butt beat. It's bad. I don't know.
Plays the race card. Whoopi always plays that race card. Isn't she a
I don't know.
billionaire?
She's one of the most successful Black women in history. Like Oprah, like I don't even know, Beyonce, whatever.
That's right.
All right. Well, listen, it's great. Hey, honey, so tell everybody where they can find you, follow you, watch your show, all of the above, and I'm going to call you after the show.
All right, thank you. You check me out at ericdieters.com, the Eric Dieters Show on YouTube and Rumble, and Eric Dieters for Kentucky and America on Facebook. I'm on all the other platforms, and thank you for having me on the show and giving me your listeners and viewers to experience a little of the Bulldog.
Well, it is my pleasure. Eric Dieters, one and only. Thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you. Talk to you soon.
All right, talk to you soon, honey. And be sure to check out the 1775 Coffee Company. We talk about it all the time. Don't compromise on taste, quality, or your values. 1775 Coffee. It is brewed to perfection, crafted with precision, and it is built on patriotism. The farm-to-cup process means there is quality, authenticity, and sustainability from start to finish. All the beans are ethically and exclusively single source. So try 1775 Coffee today. Go to 1775coffee.com/KG for 15% off your first order. Now, yesterday, in a landmark Supreme Court decision, the High Court ruled that a Tennessee law banning the surgical and chemical castration of minors for trans care does not violate the 14th Amendment's Equal Protection Clause, in a major win for protecting God's children. And in the 6-3 opinion from the Chief Justice, the court concluded that the law was rationally related to the state's interest in protecting the health and welfare of children and did not require a heightened scrutiny of judicial review. It's a historic win for protecting children and for the rule of law. For too long, we've had a sick medical experiment gone wrong, and the Supreme Court got it right. Watch.
I want to take it back to what was before the court today, which is that the evidence-based medicine would suggest we shouldn't constitutionalize a right to experiment on our kids. And this right now is an experiment. And so far, what we see is far more evidence suggesting it brings real, tangible, long-term, and irreversible harm to them.
And joining me now is the woman you just saw in that clip, President of Alliance Defending Freedom, Kristen Wagner. What a pleasure to have you on the program.
Well, thank you for having me.
God bless. So I just want to say this was such a massive ruling. I know you've been in huge demand, but I really think we want to bring it home, take it home to our viewers, to the families, to the children, to the mothers and fathers out there. Talk about the ruling. States are free now, okay? They are empowered to protect children. Take us inside the ruling and the 14th Amendment analysis.
Sure. Well, that's exactly right, that the United States Supreme Court ruled in a 6-3 ruling that states have the right to ban these harmful procedures and drugs and surgeries that are taking place in a number of different areas, and really at the hands of activists who are seeking to have this gender ideology not only in our healthcare system, but in really every area of the law, and to reshape society. So this has been a massive victory. We are thrilled. I think the most important piece of the victory for people to understand is that had the court gone the other way, the ACLU and these activists would have been able to constitutionalize the right to continue to engage in medical experiments on our children.
And as you said, the law is rationally related to the state's objective of protecting minors' health and welfare. And Justice Thomas's concurring opinion also had some very strong words and rhetoric against self-proclaimed experts. What stands out to you from the text of the varying opinions?
The justices wrote a number of different decisions. For example, the Chief Justice wrote the majority opinion that the six joined, and he essentially said that under the Equal Protection Clause, which is the 14th Amendment of the Constitution, that the essentially distinctions in the law were not on the basis of sex, but instead the law drew classifications based on the age of the person, in that it applied to minors, and also the medical treatment. What were these puberty blockers and cross-sex hormones being used for? And so it didn't violate the Equal Protection Clause. The justices also, in Justice Thomas's concurrence, like you talked about, really focused on the science behind this and explained not only is there not a national consensus that this treatment, so-called treatment, is good for kids, but actually the science is going the other way and demonstrating that it's harmful. And Justice Barrett also wrote a concurring decision that rejected the argument that the ACLU was making that somehow transgender status should receive protected status, like we provide to race. And that simply is a great relief should be to Americans, because that would have also upended the law and given significant momentum to gender ideology that would bring great harm to families.
You know, now dozens of other states have similar laws on the books or in the process of becoming law. Does this clear the way, in your opinion, Kristen, for all those pieces of legislation as well?
Well, at Alliance Defending Freedom, we're known more for our litigation and the 15 Supreme Court wins we've had, but we have a whole Center for Policy, and we've been very engaged in the state level in particular in ensuring that states have the freedom and can actually pass legislation that would be constitutional to protect families and parental rights, religious freedom, and free speech. And so there have been about 26 states right now that have passed laws to stop these harmful procedures that are irreversible on children. But I also want to take us to the legislative work being done in the sports context and in privacy for women and girls, because about the same number of states have passed legislation to protect women and girls in those areas. And this Supreme Court decision will help provide momentum for those, but those are also being challenged. So this is a huge win for Americans and for children, and hopefully it helps us turn the corner in the law.
Yeah.
But we do have some other areas we need to continue to work in.
Okay, well, talk to me about that. Where would you like to, after this, obviously we want you to enjoy, savor the moment. It's historic. It's a very big win. It's significant. It's compelling. People have been waiting for this. What do you think are the next steps, and would you like to see happen based on all of your, research, analysis, the policy-driven initiatives that you guys spearhead?
Well, first, I think it's important to give significant credit to the attorney generals who have been defending these laws, and we've been able to come alongside them and also to intervene and represent some states through this process like Alabama, Idaho, West Virginia as well. But I think as we turn that corner and look ahead, we have 2 petitions at the U.S. Supreme Court right now on the women's sports issue as an example. The court has been holding those petitions and has not agreed to hear them yet. We need this issue to be resolved and to, again, clear the way for states to be able to allow girls to have equal opportunities just like their brothers and fathers had. We also are seeing a host of school districts that are passing policies, both formal and secret policies, to secretly deceive parents, to transition children behind their parents' backs. That's an area we have to go into. And then I would just say that in terms of the impact of this particular decision, aside from the momentum and how it might apply persuasively in other areas, it's important to realize it will have a big impact on, for example, President Trump's executive orders and how those play out in stopping federal funding that is going towards these dangerous procedures, including funding that might occur in insurance programs, but also in prison systems and elsewhere. So it really is a monumental first step at the U.S. Supreme Court level.
Okay, and what we're seeing is a real medical scandal, because beyond the ruling yesterday, what level of criminality may there be and how these procedures have been carried out all across this country?
Well, Justice Thomas was right, and the majority decision also echoed what Justice Thomas said about these experts, and essentially saying, look, if we're going to rely on what experts say or medical associations, they also supported lobotomies and eugenics. So instead, we're going to look at the science. We're going to allow legislatures that are able to show a reasonable purpose or a rationally related purpose to what they're doing to have the freedom to decide these things and not make justices essentially super legislatures. So I think that's an important piece of this as we move forward.
So, you've argued and won, which I love. Kudos to you. Prayers up.
Thank you.
In the United States Supreme Court. How cool is that? To all my girls out there that are watching this, and ladies and women, grow up to be, Kristen Wagner, okay? Take us inside the room. What is it like? How does it feel when you go in, when you're there, and the whole deal?
Well, it is, I mean, as a lawyer, it is the most engaging, inspiring, intense moment that you can have, I think. Having argued before other courts, when you are able to argue before the United States Supreme Court, the level of questions, the thoughtfulness of the justices,
so cool.
the way that you engage in that is just, it's another level. It's like the Super Bowl
It is.
for an athlete, you might say.
Super Bowl, World Series. They call the World Series the show. You've made it to the show.
Yes. I would say, I think one thing people don't realize about it is we tend to focus on the advocate, and we think about it as a World Series or a Super Bowl, as a competition. But really what often is happening is the justices are asking questions, and they're working on winning one another over, or helping to bring out points that they think are important for their fellow justices. And so you get to be a part of their game rather than they being a part of yours.
Sure.
And it's unusual to be able to do that. And what a privilege to be able to stand on behalf of Americans and to know that these justices are doing their best to reach decisions that are well grounded in the Constitution, which is the most enduring Constitution in the history of the world.
What else should we keep an eye on, and what is ADF focused on, in the months, ahead?
Well, we know that the concept of gender ideology, which is an ideology, is toxic, it's destructive, and it's built on lies. We know that it's built on lies about the human person, and it essentially tells children and adults that they were created in the wrong body, and it tries to essentially remove the body and the soul and say that they're detached. When you build an ideology on lies, you have to rely on censorship in order to prop that up.
Very fascinating.
So I think a second area that we have been very involved in, not just in the United States, but in our global work around the world, is to stop censorship in all of its forms. I do also want to point out we have a couple of cases at the Supreme Court right now that the court has agreed to hear. One of them involves a counselor, and her case will be heard in the fall, where 100 jurisdictions have literally said that licensed counselors cannot help children who are confused about their bodies and think they might be the opposite sex live at peace with their bodies, which is consistent with what the science says. And so this is censorship in the most egregious form, and it will also be an important case for us to win in the fall.
Okay, good. Well, I'm glad you were, letting us know and forecasting that. We can be focused on it. We want to, for sure, to have you come back again. Anytime you're a friend of this show, we support you. And, anytime you think something is compelling and you want to put a voice to it and get it out to people to listen, you have a place here. So thank you so much for your advocacy, for your courage, your fearlessness. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
All right. God bless.
You too.
And we're going to continue following all of this. And in closing, we are seeing major victories on the issues that truly matter most, like protecting our children. It is why elections do matter, folks. The rule of law matters, and honest judges matter. Because it affects not just today or tomorrow, but the years and the decades to come. So I want to thank you so very much for joining us today and choosing to be with us for every show. Please be sure to download the Rumble app, subscribe to my channel, turn on notifications, like and share. We appreciate it. And tell all your friends so they know exactly where to find us and you don't miss any episodes. And please also be sure to follow me across all platforms, X, Truth Social, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Stay tuned to Rumble for all the very latest breaking news coverage. And don't miss Don Jr.'s big show, 6 p.m. Eastern. I hope you have a great rest of the day, and I'm looking forward to talking to you again very soon. God bless.